Okay, we are live. Welcome to the People's Basics live stream. Today, in our episode on March 17th, we are going to be doing one of the new segments that we had been alluding to in the past. We are going to be doing our first Commoner's Corner segment, where we want to talk to regular people like you. We want to talk to real, regular people, not just politicians who we get to talk to on the podcast. We want to be able to talk to you. And so, with us today, our first guest, who we're going to be talking to, is Dakota Hurd. And so, in each thing that we're going to be doing, we're going to have them introduce themselves to you all and how they identify. We're going to then talk to them about what they think the basics of what all people should have and what government should be providing. And then at the end, we're going to be answering any questions that they have in our closing remarks. So, with that being said, let me now introduce to the program. Hello, Dakota.
Hello. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're very welcome. So Dakota, want to introduce yourself a little bit to the fans out there? Want to let them know like where you're from, how you politically identify, and anything else you'd like to include?
Uh, well, I live in a very rural area in Ohio, and unlike where many people in rural areas live, I'm actually a socialist. I'd say. While
Okay.
many people around me identify as conservative.
Okay. So you are living in rural Ohio and you identify as a socialist. So let me ask you, Dakota, as a socialist, how do you define what the basic responsibility is of government in your mind?
I think the basic responsibility of government should be to make sure that everybody has what they need to survive and live, and that any people that need something to survive and live, they deserve that completely.
So your basic premise is that anyone should be able to get whatever they need to live. Could you be more specific? Like what
Uh,
things do you consider those life essentials that you think government should be providing?
uh, I think like healthcare should be universal. Uh, I believe that food should be at least at the very least pretty cheap, and water should be uh, completely covered too.
Okay, so food, water, healthcare. Okay, so let me ask you this question. When you say like socialist, some people think when they hear socialist that it's only being provided by the government. Do you take that same position where you believe that the government should be the sole provider of these things?
I don't know uh, if the government should be the sole provider of things, uh, but there are different ways to be able to get the things needed to live them through government. For example, there can be like worker laws that would allow you to join a labor union so that you can work for money and higher wages that would give you money to be able to get those things.
Okay. So let me ask you, in terms of defining socialism, how do you define that word? You've obviously defined what you think government should be doing, but I want to know how, in general, you define the word socialism and what does that really mean to you?
Uh, I'd say socialism is uh, trying to like make sure that the living conditions of working class citizens are as high as they can be, and that and like rich people, so no corruption either.
Okay. So for my past conversations with several socialists, usually a common way that they define the terminology is by owning of the means of production. Because it sounds like some of the things that you're saying and not saying that they have to be exclusively provided by the government, sounds like you might be prescribing something closer to a social democracy, where you can have like normal market systems, and then you provide certain basics of welfare, kind of like healthcare, food, and water, as you said before. So what in your mind makes these things socialist, truly? Because I think a lot of people in America kind of get a little concerned when they hear the word social. So, like, what makes you gravitate to want to use that label specifically?
I'd say the thing that makes me gravitate to using social specifically is because under a full profit system in capitalism, those things aren't necessarily very cheap or provided at all. Because within capitalist systems, businesses may raise the prices very high so that they can earn a big profit while not caring about how it affects the working class citizens of the country.
Okay. So I guess my next question, and kind of my final question for you, Dakota, for the audience out there, is just, what do you think you're looking for right now from politicians? If you were to be able to get the ear of those that are currently in Congress, or let's say Joe Biden, what would you be currently trying to get them to hear?
I want them to hear that there are people that need help, and we need your help. Please pass laws that would allow us to have universal health care. Pass laws that would give us better wages. And pass a universal basic income, I'd say.
Okay, great. And so with that being said, Dakota, is there any final things that you'd like for the audience to consider checking out, or do you have any final questions that you'd like to ask me as I do my wrap up here for the segment?
Well, I suggest that anybody in the audience try to look up. The best thing for people to do is to look up about different voting systems and tell people about different voting systems, because our current voting system is not very good.
Yeah, it is not. It is not. We got to cover that extensively in our democracy episode.
Yes.
I'm glad you brought this
The
up,
most
Dakota.
important thing people can do is look up organizations that support different voting systems and see if you can try. I'm actually trying to become a speaker myself for an organization which wants to teach people about ranked choice voting.
Yeah, there are a lot of good ones out there. I know particularly Fair Vote is one of them that I've been personally supporting on that effort. But Dakota, do you have any final questions for myself as I do my wrap up here? It was a pleasure being able to talk with you and get to hear a little bit more about how you identify, what those words mean to you, and what your top issues are.
I don't got anything else to say. Thank you for having me on the show again. I greatly appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Dakota. It was a pleasure being able to talk with you as well. So I hope you have a great rest of your day out there.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. So that was our first Commoner's Corner segment. We want to keep these really short, and we want to really hear from you. So again, we're going to be talking with people just like we did with Dakota. Any person. We're not looking for just politicians and influencers. We want to hear from regular people like you. We want to hear, how do you identify? What does that really mean to you? What do you think the basics that all people should have, and what government should be providing of that? What you think should be changed in society if you could have the ear of people in Congress or in the presidency? And then finally, any questions that you have for myself. So, with that being said, I didn't have any questions that Dakota wanted me to answer today. So with that being said, I want to just give the plugs right away. If you want to go sign up, in the description section down below, we include a link to our link tree, which has all of our links so that you can sign up on my Calendly to come on to our program. We are expecting to do these Monday to Thursday. every week. So we look forward to hopefully talking with you all. And that being said, everyone, I hope you have a great day out there. And as always, I hope you guys stay basic out.